Small Press Expo 2011. We're here, we got Joe, we got Rusty, and we have Darryl.
Darryl Ayo.
From House of 12. And boom with the postcard.
Ta-da.
House
There you go.
12. And he, last night, as of last night, IGNATZ Award winner.
Yes.
Yes. For the Promising New Talent 2011.
I didn't really think about that. So, Promising New Talent. Is that an encouraging award, or is that like, come on, guys?
It's biggest sort of like an aspirational award for the recipient and a heads up for everyone else.
Oh, yeah.
Look out.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes up,
That's
everybody.
awesome. It's an award/warning.
It's a flare gun.
Promising.
Threat.
So it's not a promise, guys. It's just a threat.
Yeah.
It's just a threat. Just keep, making comics in the road. Keep making comics, or else. I feel like it's like one of those games where you take over a territory. Everybody just needs to be wary now.
Yes.
You're multiplying across the board.
It's like Risk.
It is like Risk.
Comic Risk.
Comic Risk.
Comics are always a risk.
That sounds like a good
Yes.
studio name, Comic Risk.
Comic Risk.
So you won the award. That's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Great.
I mean, who wants to?
No.
Unless somebody's trying to stay under the radar, then they're like,
That's true.
nah, if I'm-
Witness
Trying
protection.
to be
Yeah.
underground. Yeah.
Why are they doing?
IGNATZ. Don't you give me an IGNATZ.
Where do you? This question's kind of goofy, but at the same time, where do you get your inspiration for your art and your work? Like, what inspires you?
Goofy songs with like a narrative, lyrical structure. Older movies, not old like the 1940s, but old like 70s, 80s. And tons and tons and tons of comic books.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you draw inspiration from events such as Small Press Expo, like people here, seeing these people here, and the comics flowing through the rooms, and does that make you just want to go home and just, does it reinvigorate you?
Yeah, every time I go to a show, I like Small Press Expo. I guess it's my favorite show on my schedule, but there are not shows that are not as good. Like just like seeing with people who I either know or people who I don't know are doing. It sort of makes you just like you said, like go home and want to go back and do your own stuff.
Yeah, comics and I guess art in general it's a very solitary experience.
Yeah, it can be very isolated.
Yeah, unless you work with a group, because I know we've had friends who have like these groups that they meet once a month.
That's us.
And it kind of is like a chance for them all to recharge and bounce ideas off each other, see where they're at. It's almost like other people to keep an eye on you, make sure that you're
help back each other
on
up.
point.
Basically.
Is that what you guys do together, House of 12?
Sort of by just by having a social group. Mostly, the actual structure of the group is that it's a comics jam. We meet once a month, first Thursday, in a bar called Jack Dempsey's Pub in New York City. All locals will know it as being on the same side of the street as Jim Hanley's Universe.
Nice.
Direct Empire State Building, from the Empire State Building. So we go there, and it's just sort of like, it's like your own little club. Just get it all out, vent it all out, and we do comic jams. But the editor and leader is a guy who calls himself Cheese because it's funny, and and he's been publishing anthologies based on this group. There's other people outside of the actual physical, geographical, social circle involved, but it's still rooted in that. So the latest iteration would be, just sort of like wanted to branch out past the anthology books and decided to take the project into the digital world of comics that you can see. We use the technology there. For people who don't know, there's sort of like an iTunes-like service, but for comic books. Mm-hmm. And through Comixology, we put out so far, as of this time, 4 issues of the new House of 12. In the style of Zap Comics or Mad Comics or Tales from the Crypt, an anthology of short stories of 6 pages per person per issue, and it doesn't give you the recurring experience that a lot of people think of when they think of comics, but it's more of And it's something that you can jump in at any point. You can pick whichever interests you because each issue a person's giving you, a new self-contained nugget.
Right. And additionally, I guess, it's great because, like you said, anybody can jump in at any time.
Yeah.
They don't have to have read every other House of 12 volume.
Right.
They can jump in because maybe they know someone or they just discovered someone who's in that particular issue, and that can draw them in and try it out.
Yeah. Like personally, for example, my favorite is the latest one, issue number 4. I'm not in that one, but some of my favorite House of 12 stuff is in that issue, and I was running around telling everybody that I knew to pick up that one. It doesn't depend on previous experience. You don't need to collect them all. You just need to get the one that you like.
So you guys also distribute it digitally, is that correct?
Yeah.
Now, is that in addition to a print version or straight digital?
Like for these 4, have they been on Comixology and in print?
No,
or
it's
just
only they're only available on Comixology, who sort of act as a distributor and vendor, and so there's no print version of that now. Maybe in the future sometime there'll be a print collection, like a big book anthology of those short stories.
Right.
So what happens is that basically we just wanted to have our comics be in a way that anybody can get them at any time. You don't need to actually find us at a show. If you are driving home from the show and you realize, oh, I forgot to talk to those guys, it's not a problem at all. You just jump onto your iPhone or log on at your at the website, and boom, there you go. So I really like that aspect of not being so dependent on face-to-face, hand-to-hand sale.
Well, the other thing is, considering if they go to a comic store, what if they don't have that one in stock?
Right. It'll always be in stock because
Exactly.
there's no stock.
It can't run out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you see like a big digital push through your group?
For our group, we're trying to push digital comics as sort of like an additional aspect to the alternative comics lifestyle. Right now, it's kind of slow going because people are kind of not entirely, I guess they're not really familiar with it yet. So I'm just trying to use every chance I get to let people know that this is in the same way that you've been enjoying your television shows and your music. You can enjoy your comics the same way. Because there's those of us, people such as me, myself, and other people who are just more acclimated to dealing with their iPhones, or some people with tablets and Androids and stuff like that. It's kind of hard to ask that person to then, if they are interested in comics, to then jump in their car and drive off to a place where that could satisfy that one thing. Like digital people are digital people. They just want. They want their stuff at a fingertips glance. Other people are, perfectly respectable.
They're happy to wait.
Yeah.
They're happy just to take it as it comes to them.
Yeah, and we don't have the exact issues, but we do have our previous work from the print anthologies are always still around,
right?
And you can still have that experience. So we do satisfy both sides.
Now, the story that you were nominated and won an IGNATZ for. Which volume of House of 12 is that, and how can they find it? Is it on the Comixology app?
Yeah, that's in the Comixology. That's the 3rd issue. The story that I was nominated, that I received the award for, was called Ghost. It's a 6-page story about a group of government superheroes who have to fight a ghost. And
nice.
It's really difficult to fight a ghost because there's nothing to hit.
Yeah. when you're a superhero, that's hard because that's all you're used to having to do. So.
Yeah.
Now, are you working on anything for the immediate future? Any stories or projects that you're excited about?
Yes. I'm working on a short story with a writer named Michael Peterson, and we've just been emailing back and forth. We're trying to do it old Marvel style, where he writes up a story summary and I draw the pages, and he goes back in and figures out the dialogue after that. So we're going to see if we can recreate some Marvel comics.
What I think is fun about that is it's like a challenge,
Yeah, it's absolutely.
It's a different thing. And I forget who we were speaking about this. it's one thing to do what you like to do. You know, you're gonna stick to your strengths or interests. But if you're given something that's outside your comfort zone, you don't necessarily know how you're going to react to that.
Yeah, when you have different walls that you have to work within and different constraints.
So like you wrote the story yourself, you kind of know everything about it as you go along. But in this, you're going to receive this.
Also, another thing is when you work for yourself too much, a lot of times you give yourself a lot of a break. You play more to your strengths. Like, there's like a good 3 things off the top of my head in this story that are well out of my comfort zone. So it's like you said, it's a challenge, and it's something that's going to make me, to get it done, it's going to have to make me stronger.
Without any challenges, all of a sudden, a lot of your stories take place in these bare bones rooms, and it's always really bright in the rooms, and no shadows.
Yeah. It's like Empty Factory Volume 2.
So, are you going to be continuing to submit to the House of 12 anthologies going forward?
Yeah, of course. I like doing short stories too. It might be my preferred method. I mean, I like long stories as a reader, but I like making short stories. I like jumping around from different ideas, and I kind of like to think of them sort of as songs, where you've got a finite. You have 3 minutes to
like a perfect single.
Yes,
exactly, and then make some. And then I figure, what does an average musician do? Like a song a month or song every 2 months, put an album out a year, something along those lines, more or less. And I figure, do a little short story every month and put my own little album out.
Yeah, what's cool about comics, and I'm sure it applies to other things, is that every time you do something, you inherently just get better. You're going to grow from that, and it's really neat. Like if you can make yourself work on something, not necessarily continuously, but over and over again, you're going to be very happy or happier as you go forward,
Yeah, one way or another, you're going to build,
build
those strengths.
Because a lot of times I feel short stories are actually harder to create than longer ones. Because longer ones, you have so much space to fill.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have the room to work to just spread stuff out or to figure things out as you go. You have to get it done in that amount of time.
Yeah, it's almost like it has to be even better organized and structured because it's so short.
I find that doing short stories forces you into more of a goal-oriented state of mind that a lot of us, without like having the structure of in alternative comics, we don't really have that much of the structure of telling you what to do. So sometimes a lot of people don't have a really strong focus. I don't mean that as an insult or anything, but like they don't really have sort of like a guiding thing or pushing them towards like a logical conclusion.
It's not really
they don't have a particular goal.
Yeah,
they're just
and so
telling.
sometimes it's good to have like some kind of boundary to rein you in and keep you on task.
Absolutely. And short stories are a way to do that, within the structure of that format.
Yeah.
So now, where can people find your work or information about you online?
Okay. All information from House of 12 for House of 12 can be found at houseof12.com, and that's 12 spelled out, not 1, 2. And for me, I write as part of a group blog, Comics Cube, Comics with an X. The other Comics Cube is a nice guy who we are not affiliated with, but who we like. He's really cool, and
so he's okay, but
he didn't get mad at us for having the same name as him.
That helps. That's good.
Never liked that guy.
Yeah.
What a weird name. Like, who calls their kid Don Cube?
And then personally, I have my website, letsgoayo.com, letsgoayo.com. And that's just sort of a combination blog / webcomic thing. And just sort of, that's sort of actually more on the side because I'm kind of focusing my efforts towards more of these group projects right now. But, every now and then something nice pops up.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah,
really appreciate it. And good luck earning so many more awards. Good luck marking your territory on these other people's lawns.
Yes.
Just showing them what's up.
I need more bricks to build my house.
Yes. The House of IGNATZ.
The House of IGNATZ.
House of IGNATZ.
Yeah, it's already got a name.